Hi, I'm in the city center of Skadar, Albania, and we're here to take a look at disability rights in Albania and the current state of physiatry in a country where there are very few practicing physiatrists.
Although Albania is now completely open after decades of a totalitarian regime, it is still a difficult place to travel to. The country's biggest airport is Mother Teresa Airport in Tirana, and it only has a few flights arriving daily. From Lyon, the only option was to fly to Istanbul, spend the night in the airport, then take a 7 a.m. flight to the capital. I was picked up in Tirana by Fabrizio Nacci, the manager of the Madonnina del Grappa clinic, which was hosting my visit. The International Rehabilitation Forum was invited to the Madonnina del Grappa by Dr. Germano Pastelli, the Vice President of the Italian Society of Physical and Rehabilitation Medicine.
I went the first time in Skadar, Albania in 1999 with Don Carlo Zaccaro, a priest of the ONG Madonnina del Grappa of Florence, and I started to teach in rehabilitation to young people for improve and try to do a experience of community-based rehabilitation in Skadar and in another town in the mountains, it's Puka.
Albania is a country of 4 million people, roughly the size and shape of Vermont. Geographically, it can be stunningly beautiful with high mountains peering just a few miles from the Adriatic coast. Most of the country is Muslim, but there is a minority Christian population in the north. It is also the poorest country in Europe. The communist dictator Enver Hoxha held an iron grip on the country from 1944 until his death in 1985. Free elections were only first held in 1992. Travel in and out of the country was virtually impossible, so medical standards and conditions for the disabled did not keep up with modern standards. But there is hope in the northern town of Skadar. Skadar is an extremely active town with footholds in both Christian and Islamic worlds. The bustling city center is one of the only places in the world where you can find beer gardens right next to mosques. The Skadar Regional Hospital has recently turned their kitchen facility into the city's first rehab ward. Dr. Adrian Bajaktari took us through the facility.
Yes, my name is Adrian. I'm a doctor in physiatry, specialized in 2 years ago, but I'm new in this area. And our area or our physiatry is opened 1 year ago. It's a new report, a new sector in our hospital. It's new specialization in mostly in our area, because a lot of people still now not know a lot of things about physiotherapy and rehabilitation.
Dr. Pastelli's experience has been similar.
To establish rehabilitation in Albania is not easy because of there are not the hospital in which you can bring disabled people, because of the hospital are full of architectonical problems for the wheelchairs and so on. That is not develop rehabilitation, community-based rehabilitation in a lot of parts of Albania. So it's difficult to bring rehabilitation in the last village of the mountains, but we try to do.
With elections every 2 years, political parties change often and each one has a preferred health minister. Dr. Astrid Besi is the director of hospitals in Skadar and served as Albania's health minister under the Socialist Party.
We have to create safety in our roads and in the place of work, because the quality of roads in Albania and the signs in the streets and the safe in the construction building companies or in the factories is not in appropriate level, let's say, and it's the main cause. So in a way we need to prevent it first, and in order to prevent we need if the legislation exists, we need to find the way to apply this legislation, because you have roads without signs, you have roads without lights, and lots of people lose their lives in our streets every day. We have the highest average of accidents in all the Europe, in Albania. And after that is the rehabilitated part, which in fact doesn't function well. And if the patient can have a good surgery, let's say he can't find a good rehabilitation, and we have lots of courses and nurses which have been trained to work in the field in a time that in 1,000 people who works in Shkodra Hospital Regional 1, only 2 people are paid as nurses in physiotherapy. I am member of the parliament, deputy of Shkodra. I am member of the Commission of Health Commission in the Albanian Parliament, and I have been for 7 years General Director of Shkodra Regional Hospital. And in the organic structure of the 100 employee people who works here, only 2 people are paid or are employed in the field. And in Shkodra we don't have no one doctor specialized in the field. We have 1 or 2 doctors who are doing that, but without doing a full course. There are doctors who went abroad, let's say, with their money and learned in 6 months how to exercise in a time that must exist a full
4 years
curriculum,
right,
4 years diploma for doing inequality.
Closely allied with the Shkodra Regional Hospital is the Madanino del Grappa Clinic, a former orphanage that is now a rehab clinic and physiotherapy school. On my very first day at the clinic, I was invited to speak to the most recent PT class run by Sister Ducata Radoja. Unfortunately, the elevator to the classroom was broken, but Albanians are a stubborn lot, so they made sure I didn't miss my lecture. The first question the students asked: what is the most important thing for Albanians to do to improve the condition of persons with disabilities? Before laws and policies are enacted, it is crucial that the average Albanian is made aware of the issues. This requires that the disabled be seen in public and get the attention of the media. I started out by doing an interview with the local rock station Radio Pula. And then, over the next few days, we visited several paraplegics and quadriplegics to see how they live and how they feel about being disabled in a challenging country. It's 10 o'clock in the morning in Shkodra, and we are going on a house call. And I just explained to the therapists and the sisters that in America, only the rich can get house calls. And they are explaining to me that this is the poor, only the poor here get house calls. Can you tell us where we're going? And
we are going in a village at periphery of Shkodra, so we're gonna meet 2 patients. We do free service to them because they are poor, so they don't have money to pay and to take service because they are in village, so it's difficult for them. So we're gonna go to meet them now.
And who's in the car with us?
In the car is our driver, our sister, and our physiotherapist. She makes the physiotherapy free.
Quadriplegic Tonin Marku lives in the farming community of Narash, 40 minutes outside of Shkodra. In his 30s, Tonin is quite dependent on his family. His situation has stretched their resources beyond capacity. When you come for therapy, what do you do?
Ne kena bërë mobilizim, parasysh se kur për një farë periudhë pa mobilizu edhe artikulacionet vinë ngurcohen, kalcifikohen edhe është shumë e vështirë edhe mobilizimi. Kështu që natyrisht i kena bërë mobilizim edhe kena punu për forcimin e gjymtyrëve të sipërme, domethënë me majt aktiv të që ka.
How often, how many times can you come?
Ne nuk kena arë që shumë fillim, domethënë jo fill mas që kjo. Ne vishim një
Katër herë kena ardhur.
Për një periudhë që kena ardhur,
Si mos mund se si kanë pas.
Herë 2 javë, herë 3 javë.
Janë shumë njerëz, ti pa punë. Kush kishte për me çfarë ta ndihmosh nëna djalin? Borxhe, pak shoqënia ato Edhe bën vetëm një dhëm.
Në funksionante.
Edhe këtë shtrojnë këto.
And now every day, what do you have to do?
Shërbim djalit në rrallë, në orë, gjithë natën, gjithë.
Not far away in the same town is paraplegic Joseph Zeka. Joseph was the victim of a gunshot from a family member that left him paralyzed. His brother-in-law is in prison, and his grief-stricken mother took her own life shortly after the incident. Have you gone back to work? Have you tried to go to work?
No,
Okay. What was your job before?
cooking chef.
Cooking chef.
Yes,
And so now it's
I work in Girish
yeah.
for 12 years, and after I moved in England for 4 years.
So when you're here during the day, do you use the computer? What is your day like?
Watching computer, drink some coffee, moving.
Yeah.
Sometimes go with some of my friends.
So now that he's back home, what have you had to do to the house to make the house okay for wheelchairs?
Me thënë drejtën asnjë gjë, vetëm s'kam bën në ndryshim në gjë. Përveç atij krevatit. Modifikimit që kam bën.
The difficulties aren't limited to physical issues. The mother of an autistic child explained the obstacles she faces in a country where mental illness has only recently started to be discussed. And your son is autistic?
Yes.
How difficult has this been to raise the autistic, your son?
So difficult.
When you first found you had an autistic child, did you know anything about autism before that?
Yes. I didn't know nothing.
Nothing.
The problem is here because the autistic childs are not welcomed from other people here.
In school, in
school.
institutions, everywhere.
But do they go at normal school?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Same time.
For my child, I have one other daughter, 12 years old, and Matteo. I said I try to make the most good mother to do my best for my children. It's not my fault. But,
What's fault? Yeah. Nobody's.
But they look at me. She's crazy. Had some problem like his son.
But even in these difficult conditions, there were some great successes. 20 kilometers southeast of Shkodër, in the town of Vau-de-Gis, lives judo Olympian and quadriplegic Anton Shkoza. Shkoza's training as an athlete gave him the competitive attitude to thrive in this rural, underserved environment. We caught up with Anton at his second-floor studio, which is at the top of an imposing ramp.
No. One. Come on. Oh, we have too much sun. Too much sun here. Excellent. Yes, this is good. Thank you, Tony.
My accident is 99. This time have preparation for going game Olympic in Sydney.
Sydney, yes.
Time. Edhe doktorit nuk kanë besu se unë mund të lëvizin këtë kondicion mund të marrë formë mund të rregullohet.
After the accident, you had to go to Greece and then to Holland? How was this?
Kur ka ndodhur aksidenti, për 24 orë unë kam shku me helikopter presidenti të Republikës në Greqi.
So immediately after your accident, you were thinking judo?
Every time.
Every time. This was the same thing.
Foti jem ka qenë se kam pas fëmijët edhe 3 fëmijët edhe grup. Edhe kjo ka bën tan kohën tonë me shumë pozitiv.
This is similar with me. After my accident, it was my nieces, my nephews. The children made me happy again. When you came back, how difficult was it to come back home and start your life in the wheelchair?
E ka qenë shumë vështirë. Më vështirë ka qenë në det para vërstën, se kam pas 6 vjeç.
Physically, as far as the chair, moving around, this city has nothing for a wheelchair.
Në fillim s'ka pasis asnjë lloj kushti, po I farë mënyrët komuniteti kur jam këtu më kanë bërë rrugën në shtëpi në asfalt. Pa gradualisht kam kërkuar rrugën, jo vetëm për mua, por të instalohet në trotuarën e përvendit, edhe në bashki. Besoj se kanë bërë projekt për me bu, por në gjitha ato shendat që ne kemi nevojë të jenë funksionale dhe në shkojmë deri atje.
And to build this facility, this gymnasium with the ramp, this was all from the community that helped build this?
In first floor, atë parë, më kanë bërë bashkia si për me përdorë. Edhe mrapa me kam marrë, kam restauruar ata, edhe kam bërë këtë dytë, edhe kam bërë me qenë funksional se qenë teknike. Këtu, për çdo vit, bëjmë trening të hapur për malazes të kosovar, shqiptar, vjen I mjeshtri italian, se është në mjeshtrit më të mirë në botë, është mjeshtri italian I Rusisë.
Back in Shkodër, we were invited into the homes of many persons with disabilities who decided not to go on camera. They may suffer from perceived social stigma and depression, and often they are unable to get the proper equipment or housing situation to return to the community. Shkodër's mayor, Lawrence Luka, is aware of the situation and vows to help out.
Atëherë ne aty bën kursit për këtë stres, dhe aty bën trotuarët, janë të bën me trotuarët në vendin se ku ato do të përshtaten për të kaluar këto njerëz, sepse kanë vendin e vet aty. Te trotuari kanë një dalje, kena bën edhe linjat e shërbimit të autobusit urban, të cilat kanë përfshirë mrena për mrena me strukturën, pra ulet pjesa e hyrjes dhe afrohet me derën dhe pastaj këto autobusat janë përshtatur. Edhe ndërtesat e reja që do të ndërtohen e kanë kusht ligjor që tesh mrapa çdo objekt që do të ndërtohet me ligjin e ri të urbanistikës do të ketë parashikuar edhe vendin për lëvizjen e njerëzve.
Po, domethënë gjithmonë në bazë të krijimit të do të jenë pranishëm edhe ascensor që do të jenë
ascensor, do të kenë edhe vende të tjera të veçanta sipas ligjit, pra përcakton ligji, nuk është se do na, përcakton ligji që të ketë një lloj shërbimi për këto njerëz. Është pjesë e ligjit të ri të urbanistikës. Trotuarët janë bërë, janë kursitë e biçikletave vetë këtyre njerëzve që do të ecin dhe parkexhet për këtë rast.
And this brings us back to the Madonnina del Grappa. Not only is it a medical facility, it is also a great community center for the disabled. Clinic manager Fabrizio Nacci, here in pink, not only manages the clinic, he also organizes community volunteers. But the best sense of this place can be found on Friday nights when a thriving community of staff, volunteers, and persons with disability gather to play sports, create art, and of course, dance. You yourself, why are you here?
So, my name is Visera. I am 19 years old and I study physiotherapy. I'm in the second year, so I like it so much. It's a part of my study, part of my profession to take care of these people with different problems. It's like a psychology, a part of the psychology with these people. So I like it so much to make something good in my time.
Outside the clinic, The Door, a Norwegian-Albanian NGO headed by Castrio Fascia, provides athletic outlets for the disabled and is working to create access to public buildings.
A long time. We are very lucky because we have had and have the support from Norwegian Aid, which is our strategic donor. So they are supporting our small projects, which have a big value for the community. Yes. And we hope that we will continue, and we think we will continue to work on focusing on these people. Beside all this project, we also have been involved in Youth in Action. Youth in Action is a European program supporting young people from different nations, like exchange groups. and we have been participating in 3 different projects up to now. And we are hoping and working that in 2014, in June, we will bring together young people from Montenegro and Norway here in Shkodra. And the project is called Let's Talk About Social Inclusion.
Oh, nice.
We also have installed some ramps here in Shkodra, and I'm very proud of this because we have installed 2 of them in the theater of Shkodra, so people with a wheelchair can have access from outside and also indoor. We also have installed one in the municipality of Shkodra on the back door. There is an information desk so people can have access up to that point, and also in 2 schools in periphery.
So while the future of rehabilitation medicine in Shkodër may be in the hands of the politicians, the fate of persons with disability will ride on the efforts of community-based rehabilitation programs like Madonino del Grappa and NGOs like The Door. But as long as the spirit of Albanians stays as strong as Anton Shkoza, there is a bright future.